In this episode, I'm here with Bob Algard from Solid Rock Training.
Man, just surrounding yourself with people and having mentors in your life at the right times will always get you to the next step.
Bob started his business, and just a year ago, he was only at $22,000 in recurring revenue monthly.
But we literally slept in the same bed together. We were so poor.
Awesome.
And we were just like, well, we're just gonna figure out a way to make it happen.
But over the last year, he's been able to raise that to about $70,000 plus on monthly recurring revenue. How did he do it? Well, I'm going to teach you here in this show because it revolves getting with mentors, coaches, and finding the right people to surround yourself with, which equals inevitable success.
Come with humility and the rest will reveal itself.
Is your studio management software a pain in your Fit Degree is seriously a simple software. They make studio management software that's easy to use with the features you need, and it costs less than the competition. What's more important, they are personal. They're with you every step of the way to make sure you're comfortable with the switch. Think it's too good to be true? Find out for yourself with their $1 trial. Visit tryfitdegree.com today to get started.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the GSD Show. This is a GSD Raw episode, and I am here with Mr. Bob Algard. Bob, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
All right, so, man, I'm so excited for all of you guys listening and watching. There's a reason I wanted Bob to come on the show. And so Bob has now set meetings. And, well, first, let me get to the end. I'll Quentin Tarantino the whole thing. Bob, your business is exploding, and you've only had it for how long?
About 3 years.
3 years, okay.
Yep.
And you're already noticing like a really crazy uptick. Not only are you noticing, but super successful business owners in this space are now being attracted to you, and they want to spend more time with you, and they want to check in with you, and they possibly want to find a way to work with you, right? Because of the things that you're doing and how you're doing it. You are primed for growth right now because of the systems and the processes that you've implemented in your business that I don't think I've seen studios that have been open for 20 to 30 years that have these processes in place. I'm talking, I know gym owners that have been in the industry for 30 years that don't have systems and processes in place like you do, for training, for operations, for sales, for all that. So at this point, now it's just gas. You just got to add gas to the fire, and you guys are ready, which is nuts. So that's where he's at now. I want to take a step back first and say how you got to that particular part, and then we're going to take it way back, okay, to where you started and how you got started in this thing, because there's a journey through the whole thing. So the reason you've been so successful is not because you've depended on yourself or your employees to figure it out all the time. That's what I've noticed. So you really depend and reach out to mentors and coaches and stuff like that. And you're young. How old are you?
I'm 28.
28 years old. Like, I didn't hire my first coach. I didn't even know what a mentor or coach was in this business world until I was like 30, 31 maybe. And so you're already like 2-3 years ahead of where I was. I was figuring stuff out myself and just working my ass off. And I thought I was learning by like reading random blogs and watching random YouTube videos, but you are getting right to the source of the people that are building crazy businesses in this industry, and you're reaching out to them. So I want to talk about some of the people, because I know some of them, some of the people that you've been coached by and mentored by. So who's your first coach and mentor?
Eric Russell.
Eric Russell, okay. So Eric Russell, so how did you hear about Eric?
Through you.
Through us, okay.
Yeah.
So through like a GSD show or through the conference or before that or what?
Yeah, it's through one of the GSD shows.
GSD shows, okay. So talk to me about Eric Russell, because we've had him on the show. He was actually just on the show, like maybe a month ago or so. So those of you guys who haven't seen the Eric Russell show episode, make sure you go back. He's the author of The Art of Selling Memberships, and he's helped a lot of our fitness studio owners. Yeah, it's an awesome book. He's helped a lot of our fitness studio owner members actually quadruple, quintuple sales.
Yes.
He's done that same thing for you. So talk to me about, Eric, why did you reach out to him, and then how did you reach out to him?
Right. So I just knew I had a hole in my own personal game,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think part of everything is you have to have humility to recognize what your weaknesses are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think coaches help, pull that out of you, empower you. And then I knew, well, Eric's great. Like, looked at his system, then I read his book, then I bought his course, then I did his course. And then within 2 months, we had pretty much doubled our sales volume month over month.
Okay, let's take it. So how much did you pay for his book?
It's like $20.
How much did you pay for his course?
It's $200.
Okay, and then how much did it cost for you to hire him?
Well, it's cool. It worked out where he just coached me.
Oh.
Once I bought the course.
Because you bought the course, you invested, and you work with us.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you spent $220, which, by the way, I know that sounds like nothing to you, and I believe it's nothing as well. I think it's crazy investment. It's so small for the return. But there's a lot of people that, I'm not spending $200 to learn this. I already know this, or I can get this for free online. So do you think you could find what you paid $220 for free online?
Probably not. And I don't think you would take as much action as you would if you paid for it.
Yeah.
Because I think you have skin in the game.
Yeah. So what would you say are some of the lessons you learned from Eric that you would say have made the biggest impact? Some of the takeaways, whether it's strategy, whether it's systems around your sales, whether it's measuring sales, whatever it is, what would you say are the biggest things you learned from Eric?
All the above, but I think that there is a real sales process that exists, and it's particularly important to have one for fitness, because I think selling fitness is different than B2B or all sorts of other things, right?
Yeah.
And it's a very particular set of people. People are dealing with emotional things, and so you're really trying to figure out how you can emotionally get someone involved for themselves to take action.
Right.
And pretty much everybody has the same objections. And so knowing how to respond to those objections in a way that's not going to become offensive, but you really end up helping that person out.
Yeah.
And that's the key to fitness sales.
Yeah.
You know?
I love what he said too, where he said, if you don't sell them, you're making them worse,
Right.
because now they quit, they walked away from it, and they decided not to do it. They're going to get better at that, and the next time they're more likely to not commit to it again, maybe not even do a trial. So you're hurting them.
Right.
But if you get them in, they have a chance, right? Okay, cool. And you're measuring your stuff, and you're doing.
Yes.
So what kind of stuff do you measure now after working with Eric?
Obviously we look at our leads, but then we look at how many appointments do we book off of our total leads? What's the show rate, and then what's the close rate off of shows?
Okay, cool. What do you know your rates generally? What they're at?
Yes.
So what percentage of your lead? Well, how many? Let's just go for appointments. How many appointments would you say you book off your leads percentage wise?
It hovers around 60%.
So you get 60% of your leads to actually book. And what's your show rate?
75 plus.
75% of your appointments scheduled will show up.
Yeah.
And then your close, the ones I showed?
It's around it hovers between 72 and 82% month over month.
That is really good.
Yeah.
72 to 82% of the people that show up are going to get closed.
Yeah.
Great. And are you what do your packages cost?
$150 to $200.
$150 to $200 depending on the program.
Right.
And then is there a commitment contract, anything like that?
There is. Yeah.
What's that look like?
So it's either a month to month, or we sell a 12-month agreement, and then I also sell paid in fulls.
And what would you say you sell the most of?
12-month agreements.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Would you say Eric's helped a lot with that?
For sure.
Yeah? Okay, cool. When you approached Eric, how did you approach him?
Email.
You emailed him?
Yeah, because I didn't have his phone number, so I didn't
How'd you get his email?
I just looked him up online.
Okay.
And I hit him up on
Like
Facebook.
LinkedIn or Google or what?
No, I hit him up on Facebook, and then
on Facebook.
And then I was like, "Hey man, what's your email?"
That's it.
Yeah.
Easy as that.
Yep. And then I booked my call with him, and then we talk every once in a while, and then he's even had me come and do role plays with him, just like we were doing right now, but for his membership site.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So is that easy?
It's that
Is that easy to get a mentor?
You just got to take action on it.
Because to me, he's not a coach; he's a mentor.
Right.
Even though he's coaching you, what I mean by that is, if you're not having to pay for it, right? Because you went through other stuff, you pay for your student in the course, but you got a mentor there, right? Which is great. Awesome. Who's some other mentors, coaches you've gotten along the way?
Nakafor, met him at GSD Con.
So Matt Kafora, he was on the show as well. Owns 7 Orange Theory Fitnesses. 7 Orange Theory Fitness studios. All of them are doing 7 figures or more. Some are doing multiple 7 figures. And on top of that, he's got 13 other 7-figure businesses. The guy's just got 20 7-figure businesses. All of them are doing 7 figures. He's got none that aren't.
Yeah.
He just wins in business, right? Yeah. So tell me how you got connected with him.
So he and Amanda gave their speech at your GSD Con, and then I just waited outside.
You waited outside?
And right after they were done, and I just went and hung out right in the middle of the conference, and I found him. I said, "Hey Matt, I think we need to talk."
You just went up to him and said that?
Yeah.
Okay. What did he say?
And then he says, "Cool. What you got going on, man?" Because he's really chill.
Yeah.
And he's super easy to talk to. And I was like, "Well, you sound like you're really successful. I'd love to, learn how you do all your systems and operations, And my business partner is an absolute rock star. His name's Derek. And he's incredible at putting together systems, and he's a great leader. And I was like, dude, I think that this would be very helpful for us, particularly helping Derek get things, solidified for what we have as far as operations go and things like that.
How do you respond?
He's like, yeah, let's do it. So they do a 1 day intensive.
Okay.
And they help you implement what's called EOS.
Okay.
Which is an entrepreneur operating system.
Okay.
And we flew back out here about a month and a half later. Derek and I did, and did the 1 day intensive, and fully implemented EOS in our business. And it's essentially what's allowing me to be here today. Right? Is that it gives you the empowerment that you need to be a successful business owner, so that other people can do things that you don't necessarily have to do.
So generally, would you pay for that?
It was $3,000.
$3,000.
Yep.
Now, see, it's the same thing. I look at that, I see that's nothing.
Right.
To sit down with a guy and a girl, because I think Amanda's done really great things too. I think she sold all her orange shares for like $82 million or something like that.
Yeah,
she's coming on the show next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, both. So you got to sit down with both of those guys for an entire day for $3,000. Like, think, where else are you going to put that money where it's going to be able to do better for your future, right? But a lot of people see that as a lot of money, but you, like me, see that as like, this is how do you not do this?
Yeah, it's an awesome investment.
Right, I'd have paid 2-3 times that, right?
Man,
okay,
you should charge more.
He should, yeah, he should. I'll agree. And we had him on the show as well. So if you guys haven't seen the show with Matt Kaffour, that was a GSD story episode. Definitely watch that because he's got a great story. And he shares a ton of really great information. I'm sure you kind of picked up on in the intensive as well. So, but same thing. You just waited outside, and you weren't rejected. See, I think a lot of people are afraid to go up to people because they feel like, oh my God, this person, or email or reach out or call. To be like, oh, they don't want to waste their time with me. Oh, they're so successful. They're not going to want to bother. Like, I'm going to bother them. I don't want to bother people. I don't want to seem needy. Oh, it's not like that. Because all these people come from a place of that too, and they can empathize with it. And like Eric and Matt and the next person, I'm sure, has been the same way, which, let's go to the next person. So who else have you reached out to spontaneously and learned from?
Tom Hatton.
Tom Hatton, okay. How'd you hear about Tom Hatton? Well, Tom Hatton is the CEO of Mountainside Fitness. Yeah. He has 95,000 active paying members, got I think 18 locations or 19 locations, something like that. He's got 1,500 employees. Incredible business person, incredible CEO. So how did you hear about Tom, meet Tom?
Same deal, GSD Con.
Yep.
Yeah.
I figured, but it was okay.
Yeah.
So GSD Con, and so you obviously reached out to him somehow. How'd you reach out to him?
Same situation. It was a little different because it was the last day of the conference. And so I knew that he was going to be out of there quick, and he probably was really, really busy. So I just waited by the front doors of the lobby.
So basically you held the front door hostage, like you're not going through here.
Yeah. And I said, hey Tom, and he said, yeah. I said, I love your story, man, and it's really inspiring. I'm a young guy. I'm looking to learn, and I would love nothing more than to just hang out with you for a couple hours. Is that something you could ever make happen? And I think he was like kind of impressed by the fact that I just had enough humility to be like, hey, I need help. You know? And he's like, sure. So he's really cool. He's a really down-to-earth guy.
That's awesome.
Not your typical rock star CEO. He's just raw, real.
Yeah.
And he gave me his email stuff, and I like literally emailed him within 5 minutes. And then he
that's
CC'd his
impressive for a
assistant
guy
on
like
it.
that.
Yeah, for sure. And then he responded right back, and I think we got it scheduled that day. It's like really kind of towards the end of the day,
and you just
here
did
I
that
am.
yesterday, right? So that's why you're in Arizona. So you came yesterday. You met up with Matt Kaffour. Well, first you met with Tom Hatton, right? And when did you guys meet? Lunch or?
So I met him at his headquarters.
You went to headquarters. So you got to go to Mountainside Fitness headquarters. Yep. What'd you think of that experience?
It's a beautiful spot. I love Mountainside's concept, and you can see his passion by the way everything's structured. There's a great personality that's president, and then you meet Tom, and you understand why they're doing well. And he's just got a lot of wisdom, and he's, like I said, he's so down to earth. He's just easy to talk to and ask questions.
How long did you guys get a chance to meet for?
About an hour.
About an hour? Well, would you say you learned anything in that hour?
I learned a lot.
What are some things you learned from Tom in that hour?
The number one thing I learned was to be present.
Okay.
He told this really cool story, and I asked him a question towards the end of our conversation, and we could kind of work our way back about what we talked about. But I asked him, said, Tom, is there anything that you think that I need to be aware of that I may be unaware of myself?
Great question.
Right?
Great question.
Because I think
you know what you don't know, but you don't know what you don't know.
Right. And oftentimes, too, you can get the best insight about what you need to work on as a person to be a better leader or be a better servant or whatever it is that you need to level up on in life, like getting critical insight from someone who has no idea who you are. But if they're a really high-level person, right, they're going to be able to pick up on it within a matter of minutes. Mm-hmm. And he just said, be present. And his story was his son is a golfer at Baylor, right? Mm-hmm. And his son's at swing lessons with his coach. And his coach asked him, said, hey, what's the most important thing you have right now, right in front of you? Mm-hmm. And he said that his son said, the shot. And then his coach just just looked at him. And his coach says, no, I think again, man. He's like, my club selection? And he says, no, it's to be present right here, right now.
Yeah.
And, I think that young guys like myself, full of energy, stuff like that, it's really hard to be present in what you want, especially when you're thinking, 3, 5, 10 years out sometimes.
Which you have to commit, right?
Right. But you can miss out on all the awesome things that you have going on around you, like the amazing people you have in your life, mm-hmm. or the people that help you get to where you are, mm-hmm. right? Or your business partner or your team. And like all those things are so crucial. So that was the number one thing that I learned is like, man, you have to be just humbly present mm-hmm. in every moment to make the most of everything. Like I'm so grateful to be here today, man. This is an incredible opportunity.
Yeah, dude, it's an incredible opportunity for us because here's the thing. I feel like a lot of the listeners, I don't care what age you are, whether you're 17, 18, thinking about starting something, or you're 60, 70 years old. I think, who was it? Was it Walton? Walmart started in the 60s or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I think it was him. But regardless of how old you are as a listener or viewer of the GSD show right now, if you're a fitness studio owner, it has nothing to do with how old you are. Like, people want to help.
Right.
You know who doesn't want to help? The people that haven't made it. They're selfish. They hold on to everything. And that's why they're not moving forward, right? People that share and collaborate and mentor, those are the people that actually are successful, right? People say, oh, well, of course he's happy, he's successful. No, he's successful because he's happy. Oh, of course he's kind. It's easy to be nice to everyone and happy all the time. That's why he got there. His attitude is what got him there. And what you're learning right now, which is really cool at a young age, and a lot of people don't learn it ever, is that the most successful people in a particular industry, especially when you're in it, they will be the most helpful, not just because they have the best content, but because they'll have the most compassion, they'll have the most care, and they know it so well. They didn't just learn it in a YouTube video. They know it through experience so well that they can teach it better.
Yeah.
Right? They say, like, well, you could tell a good teacher, because they know how to. Once you know how to teach something well, it means you really know the content. If you just learned it, you have a hard time teaching it.
Right.
Right? But when you really know it, I mean, you could break it down in the simplest terms so a 5-year-old can get it, right? And sometimes that's what new entrepreneurs need. And when I say new, I guess it doesn't matter if you're new or old. I guess I mean like getting out into mentorship and coaching and stuff like that.
Right.
So you've gotten to meet with Tom. You approach all these guys. Everyone was great. Is there any other takeaways from Tom? Is there anything strategically, like you should partner with these guys, you should do this with your leads, or measure your people this way? Is there anything strategically you got from him, or was it more mindset?
So we didn't get into like tactile things. Mm-hmm. We more talked about leadership.
Which he's great at.
Right. How to be a better leader, how to empower people, what it truly looks like to take ownership so that people within inside your organization will take ownership.
What does it look like?
So he just said, like, call yourself out on the cards in front of people when you screw stuff up and be willing to do that. And then in return, they'll do that when they make mistakes. And if you can create that in your culture, then it allows for mistakes to be made and you learn from them faster rather than getting held up on this fact that, like, oh, I made this mistake, but it's their fault. No, it's my fault.
Yeah.
And when people take more ownership for things, everybody gets to rise. Right?
Yeah.
The tides all rise together in that situation. And that's something I've had to learn as a young guy, right? Is like, I can be pretty intense. And so learning how to like die to thyself, right? And actually take ownership for your things. And it's probably something I've really honestly been more aware of in the past 3 to 6 months as I've sought out mentors and had opportunities for growth, that if I hadn't, I could easily fail an organization. right? I could fail my team, I could fail my business partner, like all sorts of
most
stuff.
do.
Yeah, fail my wife in other ways, you know. So I look at it as transcendent past just business. I think it's all about being a better person, making more impact, and like I hope that I get to impact people's lives, and that's one of the cool things about
You're
being
doing
here
right
today,
now.
right?
You're doing it right now.
That I would love more opportunities to serve people.
Yeah.
In that way as well.
The only reason I brought you on today, on the show, right? I would love to hang out with you regularly, but on the show is because I feel like you can help a lot of people. I hope a lot of people are going to be more courageous. And it doesn't take a lot of courage because, again, there's nothing to fear. Right. But with going up to people, reaching out to people and asking for help.
I've just always like reached out to people.
Yep.
And just asked for help. You know, there's a guy back home that we actually leased our initial studio that we're in today, who's a really successful real estate guy. And he's awesome at sales as well, but he's just a great CEO. And he's let me come to his annual meeting, see how that works, how they get their team aligned around goals, around vision, what they need to do to get their ship in order, all that stuff.
What other like, how do you learn when you're not being coached or mentored? Like, what do you have, podcasts you listen to? Do you have books that you read? Do you have people that you follow online? Do you have like books that you constantly reference back to, or guides or textbooks or anything that how do you what's your daily routine when it comes to education? Do you learn daily?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your routine like?
I block out an hour every morning to read. Some of my favorite reading stuff, as far as like the things I'm really kind of focused on right now is mostly leadership. I find that's like where I'm at critically, is just being a better leader, like being a better servant.
Do you feel like that's what you need to get better at right now?
For sure.
So do you read what you need?
I do.
Okay, that's my motto.
Yeah.
Because whenever somebody asks me, hey, what book should you recommend? Like a random blanketed question, like, hey, what book should I read, or what's your favorite book, or what if you could name one book, and to me that's like saying, if you could pick one song, what song should I listen to? And my answer is the same. Like, what are you about to do? Yeah. Right? Like, are you going to go do squats, or are you going to have a romantic dinner? Because Rocky's not playing at both. Right? Frank Sinatra won't play at both, right? Rocky will be for the squats, and Frank Sinatra will help you with the dinner.
That's right.
But you don't want to squat to My Way. That's weird, right? And same thing, read what you need. What are you going through right now?
Yeah.
And for you, you've identified leadership is what I'm dealing with right now. And I do the same thing. So for right now, all my reading is on investing. Because my biggest issue is, and this is what you call a champagne problem, but it's true, we've got money in savings, and we want to put it somewhere where it can work better for our company, so that it can generate more income. Our money can work for us better than it's working for us already, so that we can create more cash flow to be able to basically put more fuel in the business. Cash flow, better than cash, right?
Where's Grant at?
Where is he at? So we that's my thing right now, right? So I've read 7 books on it just in the last month, and I've got 13 meetings set up between now and the end of September. Right now we're mid-August, right? 13 meetings right today at 2:00. I'm meeting with a mentor just on investing, and because that's where my mind's at right now. That's we talked about it off camera, right? Your reticular activating system, right? And so your reticular activating system is something that helps. It basically brings attention to what your attention is on. Some people call it the secret, right? But if you're right now going, man, I'm struggling with leadership, and you pick up a book on operations, a lot of that's going to be like, you're not even going to absorb a lot of it. Because while you're reading, you're not catching a lot of the words, your mind's not on it, you're still thinking about other problems you got. But if you're going through real leadership problems right now, and you pick up a leadership book, every word's going to feel like it's talking to you. You're going to be like, oh my God, this they wrote it for me. They wrote it for me. They didn't write it for you. They wrote it for people that are going through what you're going through right now, and that's you. So I love that you're doing that. So you'll go in your spurts, and so right now you're reading books on leadership. So what are some of the books that you're reading on leadership?
So this is going to sound interesting, but my favorite leadership book is actually the Bible.
I love that. Okay.
Because it's full of parables.
I heard it's a popular book.
Yeah, it's a real popular book. and it's full of great teachings, right? And it's incredible to see how someone like Jesus, right, can take a group of people, get them aligned around this massive vision, and honestly change the course of the planet, right? A couple thousand years later. But the way he teaches is so incredible, right? He teaches with those parables that are applicable to pretty much anybody's life in any situation. And so it's a great way to actually make yourself humble.
What's one parable that you thought, like, it stands out to you when it comes to leadership?
Oh, man.
Anyone in particular?
Today you hear his voice, harden not your heart. Like, I think that oftentimes in leadership, you can make yourself hard to things, or inaccessible, or not there. Like Tom said, like, be present. So if you're walking around and you're just always just flying a million miles an hour and you're closed off, you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff. And I found myself in that situation as many times as a young man. And so, I think it's very applicable to pretty much anybody.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a fast mover.
I love that.
Yeah.
Outside the Bible, what else you like for leadership?
Simon Sinek.
Yeah. Which book?
Leaders Eat Last.
I love that book too.
Yeah.
Have you read Starts With Why too?
Yes.
Yeah. So, any other books, or are you just kind of digging in? Have you read Multipliers yet?
I've not.
I think that'll be your favorite leadership book.
Okay.
Well, the Bible probably first for you, but
yeah.
Second would probably be I think you'll like that even more than Leaders Eat Last. To me, that was, when I read through that book, it was me.
Right.
It was great. It was perfect.
Yeah. And to kind of touching on that, like, usually I would read a bunch of books, but I've gotten to the point where I've started to reread books.
Yeah, because it's different.
Yeah, and you pick up on more nuggets, so to speak, and the gold gets bigger and bigger
if
every
you're
time
going
you read
through
it.
that thing that the book
Yes.
solves.
Yes.
100%.
So instead of like flying through it, take your time to make it relevant and apply it.
Right.
And it becomes much deeper,
I love
much
that.
more meaningful.
I love that.
Yeah.
So where else do you learn? Where else do you learn? Like, what's your learning bucket?
Oh man, I've done all sorts of trainings. Like I've done Cardone
Cardone U.
for sales.
We go through that.
Yeah, it's great. And not just for membership, right? But learning just how to develop like partnerships with people.
And just overall mindset around sales. It's good for that.
Exactly, because I think that so many people have these negative connotations about whatever struggle they're going through, or they have fear of rejection or whatever, and oftentimes if you don't train something, you're never going to be able to get through it once you get to that point. It's like you can't just show up on game day, and if you didn't practice, expect to be the winner. Like, you have to put in the freaking work to get to where you want to go.
Awesome.
So
what about podcasts?
Craig Rochelle's got this awesome leadership podcast.
Craig Rochelle.
Yep.
Okay.
Incredible podcast. What's that? Oh my gosh. Entrepreneur Leadership.
Entrepreneur Leadership?
No, Entree Leadership. Yeah.
Entre Leadership?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
It's Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, I've been listening to him since I was a little kid. My dad, whenever we would come home from like football practice or wrestling practice, he always made me listen to Dave Ramsey. And now that Dave's got that podcast, just continue to listen to it. It's great because you have all sorts of different folks that are across multiple industries, going through different things. They've scaled big companies, and what they've done to be able to do that, what kind of cultures they've built, all sorts of stuff. So
That's cool.
It's a great one.
How about fitness ones? Do you listen to any fitness stuff?
GSD Show. Come on, baby.
Hey, don't just say that for the viewers. Do you listen to it? Do you watch it?
Yeah, I've actually watched every episode, and The Goat Show.
And The Goat Show?
And The Goat Show.
So what's your favorite episode of the GSD Show so far? For everybody listening to that maybe this is their first one, what should they go to next?
Cameron Harold.
You like the Cameron Harold one?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, what'd you like about the Cameron Harold one?
Cameron's an interesting guy.
Yeah, he's my coach.
You're a lucky man.
I meet with him on Monday.
Yeah.
Well, I've been meeting with him, but Monday's our next meeting.
Yeah, I like him because he can take things that would otherwise seem really high level and simplify them. He's great at just breaking things down into pieces and getting you like hyper focused on one or two critical things. So I love his story about junk.com or 1-800-JUNK.
1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Yeah, that's a great story.
1-800-GOT-JUNK.
1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Yep.
His book, Vivid Vision, I haven't read it, but I actually bought Mentor Box.
Okay.
That was another one you could probably add to the list.
Mentor Box?
Mentor Box is great, but he's got a learning center video on that about how to make your vivid vision.
He's actually got a good TED Talk around it too.
Yeah. And that was transformative as far as when we started growing through a growth phase, like you mentioned, being able to paint a picture for what it should look like from the time someone pulls into our parking lot to the time they get back in their car.
Yeah. Yep.
Like for a client experience in particular, and getting everybody wrapped around what that should look like.
Yeah, the way we wrote ours, because obviously he made us write ours, being our coach. is what is everyone going to say about us in 3 years? So imagine we got in a time machine, we came 3 years ago, went 3 years into the future. What are they going to say about us? And so if we interviewed an employee, what's the employee going to say about the culture in Loud Rumor? What's the customers going to say? What are our partners going to say? What are, what's the media going to say? What's our competition going to say?
Yeah.
And so you get all that, and it's kind of interesting because when you do that, it's like, okay, here's what our competition is going to say about us, and here's what our members are going to say, here's what our employees are going to say. And when you do that, you're like, wow, this is really, really cool. And so GSD Show, GOAT Show, have you gone through Loud Rumor virtual training as well?
Yes.
Yeah, Loud Rumor VT. So what are some of the trainings that you've gone through, or have you gone through a lot of them, or what?
I haven't gone through all of them.
Yep.
But I've gone through Tom Hatton's training on scaling up because, like you said, you do the things that are most needed in the moment.
What you think about his training?
It's great.
Yeah.
And we actually talked about that yesterday. We kind of broke some of the things down.
Cool.
Particularly on site selections, things like that.
Yeah.
But it's fantastic. And I think it's one of those things that when he talks about with balance sheets, right? Knowing your numbers. I think a lot of entrepreneurs or anybody that's like getting into business, they think that you can just, I call it spray and pray, and just go for it. But if you're really paying attention to your business will tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And numbers are a great way to be able to see that.
Yeah.
And so
I remember the first time I called into your studio. We did like a video call, and you had a sales girl there. She's still with you, I think.
Yes, she's
I
a rock
remember
star.
you brought her to GSD Con.
Yes,
right.
Her name's Jessie. She's awesome.
Her name's what?
Jessie.
I think you said GSD.
No,
I was like,
no,
wow,
Jessie, yeah.
this is amazing.
Jessica.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
How would you spell GSD? Hold on. GSD. Look at that. Get a close up in on
my
that, McKenna.
gosh.
GSD. Here, maybe I'll make that a D and then a Y. GSD. I'm going to name my next dog that. GSD. That's pretty
GSD.
cool.
You got the Italians.
Well, because
sling on
there's
it.
like, my cousin has a dog named Dog.
Oh.
And his Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's pretty funny. Okay, cool. So yeah, and you were the first person to buy a ticket to GSD Con. And I called you out on stage for that, and then I gave you a free ticket to GSD Con 2020 as a gift for doing that. So you're just always like on it. Like as soon as you want something, as soon as you know something could help you, you don't drag your feet or wait for it. You just go out there and get it, which is really great. Have you gone through the Fitness Marketing Secrets booklet or Fitness Selling Secrets booklet or anything like that?
Fitness Marketing Secrets, yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think?
It's great.
Yeah.
It's very easy to take nuggets that you've written in there and just go apply them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So what else do you want to share? Like if the people that are listening right now, they're fitness studio owners, and let's say they're pretty close, but they're not fully sold on the idea that they can really reach out to anybody and probably get some help, what would you say to them?
Put yourself out there. I think that a lot of things, just like I shared with the team this morning, are really about humility. Like people want to help people that they know are open to wanting to learn. And then when you approach it with that mindset and you actually get in front of somebody, you say, hey, would you be willing to sit down with me for an hour? Most people are going to be willing to say yeah. And honestly, if they say no, they're probably not someone you want to spend their time with either, because they don't come with a giving hand.
Yeah.
And so I think that you just got to approach it that way. Come with humility, and the rest will reveal itself.
I agree.
Yeah.
So what's your story? What's the name of your gym?
It's called Solid Rock Training.
And tell me about it.
So we have a really awesome mission that we're on. Our mission is to inspire people to live healthier, happier lives. And we defined something that we thought was pretty unique. It's the heartbeat of our company, which is to love God and love people. And so those two things are like our catalysts for how we serve, for how we interact with not only our clients, but our team members. And we're the creators of the most functional workout on the planet.
I love that.
So
I love that.
Think about doing a 45-minute workout that would take you 2 hours to do on your own at the gym. And then we made it stupid simple so that you can have a beginner workout right next to a fitness enthusiast at the same time. And there's a whole bunch of inspiration in the room, tons of great motivation and energy. And on top of that, we spend a lot of time with our coaches, right? Because the coaches are the front line of that whole experience. So we really pride on ourselves being able to actually take fitness, functional fitness, and simplify it. And one of our main core values that allows us to do that on a high level and to create us raving fans is called Fanatic Care. So Fanatic Care is like the embodiment of like what you could think of like Chick-fil-A, the fitness industry, right? If you can envision that, that's what Fanatic Care is at Solid Rock.
Okay.
So like when you come into one of our studios, and I say one of our studios because we're going to be opening more of them soon.
Okay.
But
I love that you're already there.
Yeah, dude. Someone's going to greet you with a high five.
I love
say,
it.
Hey, Mike, welcome to Solid Rock Training. How are you doing today?
I love it. I love it.
Right? And that's not only going to be the front desk, but the coach. And then, if they notice that you're off or that you're like feeling solid, they're going to adjust and adapt to what you need in that moment, right? And the same thing once you get on the workout floor. Everything's going to be personalized to you. So it's a great way to take group training, personalize it, and allow for beginners and advanced people to work out right next to each other.
Love it. So where are you at now? Where's the location?
So we're in Norman, Oklahoma.
Okay, Oklahoma.
It's a small metro market. It's a crazy story how we got started.
Yeah, how did you get started?
So my best friend and I from high school, Derek, he's a rock star. He's my business partner. We got started in a studio that's, I don't know, man, maybe like 500 or 600 square feet, right, on a farm in rural Norman.
Like an actual farm? Was there cows and chickens out there?
Yeah, man. Like this whole space had been converted from a place where they did horse shows and cattle shows, and then we worked our butts off for like a year. We had no idea what we were doing, and it's so crazy, man. Like, this is going to sound weird, but we literally slept in the same bed together. We were so poor for like 6 to 8 months to get the thing off the ground because we had no money.
That's awesome.
And we were just like, well, we're just going to figure out a way to make it happen. And then, fast forward a year, it just kind of started taking off, but we were training a bunch of athletes, and we had like this small group of 20 adults that were working out with us. And we're like, we really like training the adults.
Yeah.
And we had built up the athlete side really big, and then like half of them left. And we're like, oh my gosh, we're going to go out of business. So we pivoted. We were like, man, we really love coaching adults. We're entering this phase of our life. How can we take the stuff that we were doing the athletes, dumb it down, do something that's like a bridge between CrossFit and an Orange Theory, and make that into a business model? And so that's what we did. And then it just took off like a rocket ship.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So what are your employees feeling like? How's the culture at the studio?
We're working on it for sure.
Yeah.
One of the things that we really are working on is this concept of teamwork. So that's our second core value, is teamwork.
Okay.
Because it's one of those things, man, like once you build something, like when you first start, right, everything's built around you or your partner or however that situation is that you're in. But if you want to replicate yourself, if you want to make more impact, you want to do something bigger than you can do on your own, you have to work with a team.
Yeah. And that's why you're reading so much on leadership right now and meeting out with people like Tom and Matt, because that's what you're working on.
Yeah, and in a lot of situations you're the weak link on the team, and I think that when you come at it from that angle and people can see that and you can open up about it and be vulnerable, then it allows for there to be more ownership in the organization.
Yeah, I'll tell you now that we got 30-some employees, I'll tell you that there's levels to it too.
Yeah.
I was a really good leader when I had 2 people. And I think that was easier because, I was in martial arts and, I led, in martial arts. I taught martial arts and I was a personal trainer. And so I managing 2 people was not, and one of them was your wife, right? So I was a good leader. I was able to motivate them. But once we got to like 4 or 5, I felt like everything was starting to unravel. I wasn't used to so many personality types, right? And everyone was so different. I thought everyone needed to kind of like adjust to me.
Yeah.
And then I figured that out. And then once I got to like 10, it was like worse because now the couple personalities are clicking with each other and then now there's clicks. And I was like, so I had to figure that out. And we did. And then we got to like 15, 20. And then it was like a whole nother thing. And so right now, I feel like culture is really great. And I really, really feel like we've got a great grasp on culture and leadership for how many employees we have now. But based on what I'm learning from my mentors, once we get to that 50 mark, we're going to hit a whole nother wave, right? And it's important that my team knows that because what happens is if I'm only the only one that knows that once we get to 50, like we may have some bumps here, then everyone else is going to be like, oh great, we're losing it. Here we go. Yeah. It was a fun ride while it was, while we were on it. But no, we're still the same ride. It's just, we're a little low on gas right now. So it's a whole other thing that we have to go through. Once we go through it, great. And then once we get to 75, 100, it keeps going. So, like being a captain on a team is, different level of leadership than a coach, different level of leadership than a general manager and an owner. And once you get up there, it's like, the captain of the team is so close to the players.
Right.
You are a player, right?
Yeah.
Once you become the coach, you're not a player, but you're still pretty close to the players. You know them all, you communicate with them daily, but you don't get on the court. You don't go through what they go through.
Right.
Once you become the GM, you don't even talk to them on a daily basis. You really just talk to the coach. You have middle management now. And once you become an owner, now it's like you're really just talking to the general managers. The players don't even know you. You're almost like kind of like an icon to them. Like, I know he's up there doing stuff and he's supposed to be really good, but I don't really know. So, and it's hard, right? So you just got to learn how to, the best owners still find a way to keep that culture trickling down all the way through.
Right.
And so we just got to keep evolving. So I think you're going to refer to that leadership book as often as I do, which is, every wave, you're going to have to dig back into it.
Right.
All over again.
Exactly.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
What are you most proud of when it comes to yourself? I know you're a humble guy, but at the end of the day, I feel like a big part of growing is learning when to be super proud of yourself. It's great to be proud of other people, and I know you are. I can tell you're the type of guy that is, but what are you proud of yourself about?
I think being able to recognize what I'm not strong at. And that's going to sound opposite of what most people tell you. But
no, that's something to be proud of.
I think that really, really knowing what you're great at and what you're not great at, and letting people come into your life at the right times, whether it's business, your personal life, whatever, and surrounding yourself with people like that. I feel like I've done that throughout my life. And I've had a great life, man. I really have. But my dad passed away when I was 3. And so that's one of the reasons I love fitness, right? It's because I wanted to do something that was going to be proactive. But that was like a huge void in my life. And so I was kind of troubled, as a teenager. I worked really hard, had great parents. My parents loved me. They did everything they could for me. And my mom got remarried when I was 7. And my stepdad, he treated me like I was his own kid, But there's still that emptiness. And so I played sports, but in the background, I struggled with drugs and alcohol, and pretty much through college too. I couldn't do drugs because I went to a military school, otherwise I got kicked out. But I definitely struggled with alcohol. And so, just surrounding yourself with people and having mentors in your life at the right times will always get you to the next step. And I feel like that started happening to me really in an abundant way, by the time I got into college. And I've really I think that's the reason why I seek mentors, right? Is I know that no matter what's going on, there's always someone that can help you get through whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
I agree, man.
I agree.
That's
my thing, dude.
And you're collecting them so much that's almost exclusively who you're communicating with.
Yeah.
When it comes to business stuff on a daily basis. And what you're going to notice, if you haven't already, you probably have already, sometimes you'll talk to people that are far apart, maybe where you used to be, and you're like, man, this guy just doesn't get it, or this girl just doesn't get it. And you almost feel for them a little bit, but you're almost it's really cool to see my growth, because you almost feel like a fish out of water.
Right.
And it's weird, because I used to feel like a fish out of water around entrepreneurs. I didn't even want to be in the conversation. I was just listening. I wouldn't want to talk, because I was just enjoying listening, and I felt like I wouldn't contribute. I would just feel like I would just, mess it up.
Yeah.
So I would just listen. I felt like a fish out of water. Now I can contribute, and I feel great. But then I get around people, and they want to talk about complaining about. They've got something. Just give me something to complain about, and I'll do it. Right? Those kind of people. And I feel like a fish out of water there. I'm like, man, I don't really like this conversation. I kind of want to move out of here, because I don't know how to contribute. I don't want to contribute, right? Because I feel like I'll mess it up. So, and have you started experiencing that yet?
I have, man. And it's one of those things where I think that contribution takes shape in different forms at different stages. Like you're saying, it's really cool. There's a guy back in Norman who's just bought a gym, and he's not in an awesome situation. And he came and interviewed with us. And I've actually been going and helping him out once a week, just talking with him on the phone for 30 minutes to an hour, giving him books that I've read to help us.
You're giving
get
it back.
to where and so it's cool. It's starting to come full circle. And I'm really, really, really thankful for it.
Do you feel like he's bothering you?
No, I don't. And I wish more people...
Are you excited to help him?
Yes.
And that's exactly what the people above you and the people above them are thinking when you approach them. So everyone listening and watching, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I like to help. When we got on the call, I think I ended up talking to you for a little while.
We did.
And just give advice. I think we talked about Nike sneakers and random
it was like
shit.
an hour phone call.
It was like an hour call, but I didn't feel like you were bothering me. I certainly had shit to do, right?
Yeah.
But I enjoyed helping because I get it, right? And I don't even know if I'm thinking about it. I'm enjoying the conversation. And so for you guys tuning in today, just know that like the other person's not going to be bothered. More than likely, if you're reaching out to somebody that's truly figuring it out, they're going to be excited to actually help you. It energizes them, if anything else. It energizes you too.
Dude,
I can tell.
Fires me up.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share?
No, man. I just want to thank you for having me today. It means a lot.
I appreciate you coming on. Thanks, man. And for everyone watching and everyone listening, we'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching. If you like this episode, make sure you subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, or YouTube. And to watch more episodes and get exclusive links from each episode, go to gsdshow.com. Again, that's gsdshow.com.